Today we're going to talk about Officer Tatum and his failing attempt to be a sellout. Wow, this one is so embarrassing. If you are a sellout, the people you're selling out will never respect you. But funny to that is the people that you're selling out for won't even respect you either, because they're thinking to themselves, if he can, sell out his own people, how can we trust this guy? Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what I dislike so much about this situation. I think the funny thing about Officer Tatum and other black conservatives, right? And like I said, being a black conservative is never a problem, because if you believe in conservative values, hey, that's fine. Just don't think you have to hate black people being a conservative, though. That's just the thing, I mean, I'm not on any political part of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all BS. But if you're going to be a black conservative, don't sell out your own people. It's kind of common sense. But I think the thing with the black conservatism is that people think that if they join that side, they have to just dislike black people and stuff like that. When really and truly, if you're a true conservative, you're against injustice. And you would have the common sense to know that injustice is in all races of people. No matter how much they want to spin the narratives, look at the statistics. Every race of people is doing evil. It's not just black people or Muslims. White people can do bad things too. But with Officer Tatum and all people that are black conservatives and stuff like that, they've not reached this point where they've done their simping so hard. They've simped for the MAGA and the racists so hard, the people who generally hate black people. And they've been a token to be like, see, we're not racist because other black people are saying that you're the problem too. When you have ethnics that claim that their own group of people is the problem, it energizes the racists so much to the point where they'll think, hang on, it's not just some black people I like or some ethnic people I don't like. I just don't like ethnics, period. And I said this in a few videos. I always said that eventually, when they get powerful enough, they will kick every single one of those puppets out, including the ones that did their best to stay in Master's house. And like I said, I was right. Because recently with this situation of Officer Tatum, he's now in a position where he's being pushed out. No one thinks he's credible. His people that he simped for so hard don't think he's credible, because he started doing a bunch of weird things. He did an interview with Bibi Netanyahu, who is the enemy to MAGA America, in the sense that America is meant to be Americans first. However, it seems to be Zionists first and then the American people second.
Obviously, I've been to Israel. I love Israel. I'm obviously pro-Israel.
Which is making a lot of MAGA people upset due to the fact that they're being hijacked by a different government that is Zionist approved and Zionist populated, to a point where Zionists get put first rather than Americans. And that's where he realized that, oh, well, I must have made the wrong move here. Clearly, my supporters didn't like this one. And since then, that's when MAGA started to realize that people like Officer Tatum is like, hang on, Officer Tatum, staked out his black people. So why would he have had loyalties to us? Because we already know that this is their words, not mine, that Israel is our enemy. So therefore, he's done an interview with Israel. This guy just goes with the wind everywhere. He doesn't stick to anything. So let's kick him out. That's what's happening with all these black conservatives. Because to them, you'll always be a puppet. And if you don't do what a puppet does, then they're going to throw you out for a different puppet, or just not have a replacement puppet, period. But it is, he just got kicked out. So now Officer Tatum's in this weird case where he's been kicked out of the club. And person who's coming in now is Nick Fuentes.
Go upper nigga 6 7 cent $20. Brandon Tatum got to be one of the biggest retards with his Israel stance. The guy had nothing to refute Myron. Myron hit him with fact after fact, and he had absolutely nothing other than a disagree, and that's not true. Spoiler, it was true. Dude sold out to Israel for 5 bands in a Snickers bar. Pretty sad. Stay safe, Nick.
Thank you, man. Yeah, dude, he's a coon. That is a straight up coon. That's just what he is. He does it for free. He goes, I don't take money from Israel. I don't take money. Oh, you do it for free then? Wow. Good boy. Wow. Good job, Officer.
Y'all got used and spit out, bro. They have no use for you guys anymore.
Explain yourself. You said on Candace Owens' show, you don't want a race mix. You are a racist. Explain how you not a racist right now. That's what interview I would have. Why are they're gushing over each other, smelling butts? Turning point. Do you see the person that's on stage? don't know how many times I got to say this. And people got mad at me and said, Brandon Tatum, you dividing the movement. I simply said he's antithetical to the mission of Turning Point USA. The stuff that he's doing is antithetical to what Charlie stood for. At some point, somebody got to drop their nuts and say, I can't have you out here doing this. We got young, impressionable young men, and this is what you infusing in their mind. Next thing you're gonna have Nick Fuentes up there?
This clown got some nerve. Imagine the damage you've done to impressionable young men and their perspective of black people when they click on videos like black people meltdown over losing EBT after government shutdown. And the videos that you've played was satire videos by alt-right accounts and other sellouts and AI videos of black folks complaining about EBT. But you went out of your way to play this and portray as if black folks are the only ones who are like on EBT or who are terrified of losing or like losing EBT, and painting black folks as if we're like all freeloaders and moochers. That's something that you did, by the way.
Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream. His dream then turned into a nightmare because of black people. The white man trying to let him live his dream. Y'all black people trying to kill his dream. He said the content of character, not the color of skin. And white folks are saying you need to stop putting the color there and do the content, like Martin said. But no, the people of the melanin said, Martin Luther King, we only want your name on a sign on the street where we shoot all our own brothers at. Find the street where most brothers get shot at, and we want Martin Luther King's name right there. Let's go and find something to bludgeon white people with, so let's invoke Martin Luther King's name. But we don't want to do nothing that he said. We don't want to stand by none of the principles that he bestowed. We want to just virtue signal him in front of the face of white people to make them feel bad. But the white man is doing what he wanted to do and the black people ain't. Some people may sound wrong for this. When there's too many black people in one place, it seems to always go bad or be extra ghetto. I'm just throwing it out there. I travel all around the country. I've been to almost every airport in the union. I see white people at airports, poor areas, small airports, large airports. It's status quo. When I go to airports that have an influx of black employees, asinine how ghetto, trashy, and weird it is. We just came from Birmingham. Birmingham is full of black people. The woman that's booking us on the flight at the ticket, she's loud, she obnoxious, she's ghetto, she doesn't enunciate her words, she's talking slang. I just was like, this is so unprofessional. How do you have a job with American Airlines? Now, I wouldn't dare say this to her because I don't want to hurt her feelings, but it was embarrassing. White folks are watching her. I told y'all to get on that thing over there. Get over there. Let me tell y'all, I said, oh my God, this is an airlines. This is us checking in with our tickets. None of this is necessary. And I'm not trying to push a racial thing. I just wish black people do better, man. And I don't know if they can, because everywhere I go where there's a ton of black people, it's always drama. It's always drama. I just see why white people have a problem with black people sometimes.
Say what you want about Nick Fuentes. I think he's a very controversial guy. We're not talking about him, but now that's who MAGA are looking to replace Officer Tatum. Like I said, replace him with a different puppet. And Officer Tatum isn't liking that because, well, after all the hard work he did, after all the sellout, you guys think you can do this to me?
You think you can do this to me?
But this is what's happened. Now he's kicked out, and he's trying to do this slight thing where he's trying to turn now, because he's now realized that he's losing loads of followers and loads of people, loads of support, and now he's already sold out black people. He sold out MAGA to Israel.
Y'all keep praying for me. I said, I want them to turn that place into a parking lot. I gotta preface it, because somebody gonna clip this and put it on the internet. Not because of the Palestinian people per se, individual people, but because if you dare to do such an atrocity to people that I love, people that I respect, people that are chosen by God, you decide to do something like that, you should never have an opportunity to do it again. And it should be an example to everybody in the world that if you ever think about trying something like this, your country will cease to exist. Boy, if I was the prime minister, ooh, it's 48 hours. Give me 48 hours. And so it enraged me. And then I said my statement. I thought that most people in America were thinkers and had common sense. Well, shockingly enough, I was wrong, because after I said it, we see all this anti-Semitism popping up. We see mindless people on campus wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars getting no real education. And they're out here talking about from the river to the sea and don't even know which river it is.
And now he doesn't know where to go now. So now it's like he's trying to come back to black people. That's why he's saying some good points. And, you know, it came out recently in this video, as you can see.
Like Nick Fuentes and others will say, black people should be in prison. Well, let's look at the stats. Black people commit about 6,000 murders a year. 98% of it is against other black people. That's 6,000 murderers. There's 40 million black people that live in America. The overwhelming majority of black people are not murdering anybody. The chance that you get struck by lightning is probably more than getting murdered by a black man. It's concentrated areas of poverty and violence. When I was a police officer, I noticed that white crime and poverty go together like black crime and poverty. The only difference is gang-related violence, which make black people go up another notch. Right. But when you talk about abandoning children, meaning fatherless homes, when you talk about people using violence, killing each other, stabbing each other, robbing, stealing, white people had the same rate of some of this stuff as when I grew up. White neighborhoods are still places you don't want to live. The poor, impoverished white neighborhoods. People that don't understand that because they never actually patrolled and lived anywhere other than some little small area where they only had negative experiences with black people, they really don't understand the totality of what we're really looking at here.
When there's too many black people in one place, it seems to always go bad or be extra ghetto. I'm just throwing it out there. I travel all around the country. I've been to almost every airport in the Union. I see white people at airports, poor areas, small airports, large airports. It's status quo. When I go to airports that have an influx of black employees, asinine how ghetto, trashy, and weird it is.
That he used to be a police officer. And I think this just goes to show how diabolical Mr. Tatum is, for the simple fact that you are a police officer and you realize that both all races do bad things, yet you were on your channel acting like white people can do no wrong. That's to show you how disingenuous and how flaky and going with the wind this man is. A man that doesn't stand with anything will lose everything. A man who doesn't know what he sticks up for will lose everything. And that is exactly who Officer Tatum is. You knew the right thing the whole time. You knew the true facts, yet you feed it on the narratives. You fed on the narratives because you wanted to maximize your profit.
If you hate me and you don't want me to make money, then you probably shouldn't watch my video. But if you're going to continue to watch my video, make sure you watch all of my videos and like and subscribe, even if you don't like me, because that's just going to give me enough money to go to Israel. And I'm going to get a yarmulke. Matter of fact, I'm going to be Talmud Tatum for Halloween. So keep watching my videos. Give me a super chat so I can buy me a costume and be Talmud Tatum Steen. Matter of fact, the more you watch my videos, I can get that $7,000 that they ain't never paid me. I'm gonna have that thing. I'm gonna put that. You know how they be wearing that thing on their head and their arm? I'm gonna do all that. I'm gonna have the strings hanging and everything. I'm gonna go get a wig with the swirls. I'm gonna have a Talmud over here and a Torah over here. Play with me if you want to.
This is why I say to you guys, right? We cannot allow these social media people to divide us. A lot of these people are grifters and they will say any type of BS narrative just for the money. Their love for money, they care about the money more than their morals. They don't give a dang who gets hurt. They don't care about the collateral. They only care about the money. That's why even if they know the truth, they won't say it. Even if they know what they're doing is wrong, they won't say or acknowledge what they're doing is wrong, because all they care about is their money. That's all they live for. This man knew the right thing and he still did the wrong thing. Do you know how evil you have to be to know the right thing and still do what is wrong? You still lie, you still manipulate, you still say all kinds of stuff. That just goes to show how grimy you are. Now, I pray for Officer Tatum. I pray that, you know, nothing bad happens to him. But his character definitely needs to be in question for the simple fact that his actions, his words actually impacted people, whether he realizes it or not. Indirectly, whatever it is. People can say that, oh, the actions of people who are racist is, you know, because of Officer Tatum per se. But he joined into the narrative of dividing people. And that's why he's bad, because anyone who takes pleasure in dividing people, whether it be for profit or whatever it is an evil person. You know me on this channel, I'm so against dividing people because I feel like we're together, we are all stronger. When I see people that just divide with lies and deceit and all kinds of stuff like that, that is just irks me to the wrong way. Because how could you know this is the truth but still lean on the narrative? But all these kind of people, these grifters always get exposed because, like I said, they go where the wind is. These YouTube people, most of them are fake. I'm telling you now, you're not going to believe, but most of them are fake. They go with the wind and they just do whatever pays more. And now with him now, he realizes MAGA doesn't like him no more. They've replaced him with Nick. And now he's going to try and feed his way into black people saying, I realize now that MAGA is too racist. Really? You didn't know that before? Of course you knew that. Of course you knew that. But this is the easiest way for him to make money. But hey, moral of the story, my people. Don't be a sellout. Don't mess with sellouts because they'll sell you out eventually. Even if they do it to everyone else, they eventually come for your ass. I did you as well. Be very careful who you follow on social media because, like I said, a lot of these people will only go with what is trendy. They won't speak on what is right. At the end of the day, this is a career for them. Me, I have nothing to lose. I'll say the truth. I have a very good job out here. You get what I'm saying? The real world. I have a good job. I have my master's. I have my degree. I'll say whatever the heck I want and whatever is true. A lot of these people, you got to understand, this is all they have. So of course they will lie. And of course they will do dumb ish like this. But hey, this is what it is. But what do you guys think about this situation? Do you agree with what I have to say? Or do you have any other opinions? Regardless of the case may be, really please see what you have to say. And that being said, God bless, take care, and I'll see you guys next video.